Lisa Barlow went off on Bronwyn in a series of tweets yesterday on X, explaining to fans who were criticizing her that Bronwyn lied about the jewelry, which, hey, Bronwyn on Watch What Happens Live admitted to never buying jewelry from that store at the end, and how Bronwyn brought the story of Gwen's grandparents to the show. I'm Kashal, I'm a former award-winning TV journalist. Hit the follow button for more Bravo updates. This first post was a response to Queens of Bravo. Queens of Bravo posted, "Me every single time Lisa struggled to just simply apologize to Bronwyn and Gwen and leave it at that without getting defensive. But Lisa cannot not get defensive. So she said, I did apologize, but the problem is she lied about me saying she faked a miscarriage and that she had an affair while he was married. That is disgusting. And what else do I need to be sorry for? She asked me, it's in writing, to meet with the grandparents, and they are good people." Mind you, Lisa was so mad writing this that no punctuations anywhere. You just have to guess where the sentence ends. This user then said, "The point is, and I'm gonna hold your ice cold wrinkly hands when I tell you this, you weren't supposed to say this on camera, honey. That's why they're mad. And if Bronwyn was a social friend, as y'all like to call it, then why would you feel comfortable saying this in the first place?" To which Lisa replied, "Why the F would she bring this to camera and then have an issue with it? No one asked her to, no one made her, they don't do that. It's a choice to bring things on camera. No producer was there when she showed me the picture. I don't know why they cut this out of the reunion either." Another user said, "Question, why was it so hard for you to apologize without adding, and I feel bad for my friends too? She just wanted an I'm sorry for her daughter. You made it clear the other people are your good friends, Lisa. I found that hard to watch." Lisa's response, "She wanted an I'm sorry for saying she faked a miscarriage and that she slept with the father while he was married. Those are not things I did or said. Those are things she added out of nowhere. I did say I'm sorry. If Gwen was hurt, go rewatch. And she wants me to say the grandparents are shit and I won't." Then Lisa posted this. "She said it on camera first. She is the one that told the story first, and maybe one day Bravo will effing put it on the network. She brought up the widow. She brought up the sister. She brought them reaching out to her. We do this before the show airs. I didn't know what they were airing, and the question was, how did the family react? What did they tell you? No one said she faked anything. No one said she had an affair. It's all effing lies, just like the effing necklace." This user then tweeted at Lisa and said, "Hey Lisa, love you, but seriously, way to ruin a jewelry store. I'd never shop at a place that can't keep my confidence, especially when it comes to jewelry." Lisa said, "Who lied about buying jewelry? No one can ruin the jewelry store. Emma reached out to me as a friend because I introduced her to Bronwyn. Bronwyn kept lying to her and it was getting her in trouble. Bronwyn should feel pathetic for what she did to a friend that has loaned her jewelry for the past 3 years." This is the last one I saw in her replies. This user said, "Lisa never said faked miscarriage. The first we heard it was right here, right now out of Bronwyn's mouth. And then Lisa said, never, I would never." Whose side are you guys on in this feud? Lisa was right about the jewelry. Was she right about the grandparents? I don't think so. I think that's a very touchy subject and she should have just bit the bullet, said I'm sorry, and moved on. But Lisa wasn't wrong about the jewelry. Bronwyn admitted on Watch What Happens Live, she ended up never buying anything from that jewelry store at the end of the day. So let me know your thoughts in the comments. Last night's Southern Charm gave us a lot more insight into Craig and Paige's relationship before they broke up. Because according to Craig, he would have already proposed to Paige if it wasn't for her changing her mind so much. In last night's episode, Craig told Shep, if it was up to me, we would just be engaged, but she changes her mind a lot about stuff, you know? One day she'll text me and say, let's build an effing farmhouse in the middle of nowhere, or I'm moving to Charleston. But then she'll have a good day in New York and be like, I love it up here. So then Shep asked Craig how all of that made him feel. Craig said, it gets confusing. I think that's the life, right? It's a bunch of decisions and compromise. This is also right after Craig spoke to Shep in Austin earlier in the season about how he was freezing his sperm because he wanted to have kids with Paige in the future. And it's just crazy watching the scene because right now, we all as viewers know that him and Paige do not go the distance and they in fact break up right before the holidays. But that was also a very telling conversation because it showed that these two are, or were at least at that time, on very different paths. What did you guys think? Let me know in the comments. Spencer Pratt and Heidi Montag are suing. The couple, along with 20 other people, are suing the city of Los Angeles and the LA Department of Water and Power over damage that their home suffered in the Palisades fire. According to the lawsuit, Spencer and Heidi say the city and DWP failed on multiple levels, from infrastructure to water management. They claim that a nearby reservoir was empty and had been offline for months when the Palisades fire ignited, limiting the flow of water to fire hydrants and tankers in the Palisades, where firefighters say they ran out of water trying to fight the inferno. According to Spencer and Heidi, DWP was trying to save costs by draining the reservoir and seeking bids for repairs, and they claim it ended up costing homeowners dearly when a fire ripped through town. They're also blaming LA and DWP for a faulty water system design. They say there was no way infrastructure could effectively fight wildfires, a flaw they claim city officials admitted to in wake of the fires. I don't blame them one bit, and honestly, I think this is going to be the first of many lawsuits we're going to be seeing because thousands of people lost their home. And LA is still fighting wildfires today. So this is still an ongoing story. But so far, the California firestorms in Pacific Palisades, Malibu, and Altadena burned more than 16,000 structures and killed at least 28 people. The estimate of costs have topped $250 billion. Bronwyn's necklace storyline is really blowing up in her face. Shout out to Albie over on X for catching this. He wrote, "Here is Bronwyn saying she bought the necklace off camera on a podcast, but at the reunion, she mentioned she bought a smaller piece. Then on Watch What Happens Live, she said she didn't buy anything. So Lisa Barlow is again vindicated." Take a look at the clip and let me know your thoughts in the comments.
I love it. I mean, yeah, if you can buy your wife a $5 million necklace around a bunch of people who can, it's kind of fun.
I mean, I just always want to point out I did not do it in front of anyone.
No,
I just
wore it in front of everyone. Yes, you did have the meeting off.
We did it
off
privately.
You did it privately.
We did it privately on national television.
Exactly.
Justin Baldoni's wife and mom have posted for the first time since this whole lawsuit began between Justin Baldoni and Blake Lively and Ryan Reynolds. His wife posted on Instagram, "Happy birthday, my love, celebrating the man, husband, and father that you are. I choose you again and again." His mom posted a lengthier caption. She wrote, "Happy birthday, Justin. Remembering a wonderful moment after the final ending of Jane the Virgin, a moment where joy and love permeated the set, where friendships and family were born, and kindness and integrity permeated the hearts of all the actors and crew, where sadness only entered because it was the final scene of a wonderful journey and the beginning of the rest of our lives. A happy, loving, and generous memory with hearts exploding with possibilities. Life has its moments and also its surprises. As you keep your integrity through it all, justice and truth will shine today and into eternity. I love you more than you will ever know. Happy birthday, my beautiful boy. May God continue to bless you in truth." Since he filed his lawsuit, he left LA and has been in Hawaii vacationing with his family. Just this last week, that extra footage from It Ends With Us was released by Justin Baldoni and his lawyer, showing that dance scene between him and Blake Lively, where she kept trying to basically direct that scene. And on the same day, Ryan Reynolds and Blake Lively issued a gag order against Justin Baldoni's attorney to kind of stop them from putting out these clips to not sway the public's opinion. But one thing is clear, Justin has a lot of support from his family. So I've seen a couple creators say that the gag order that Ryan Reynolds and Blake Lively requested against Justin Baldoni's lawyer was denied, and that's not true. The judge has not accepted or denied this gag order request. Justin Baldoni's lawyer is just responding to that gag order request, and here's what he's saying. Justin's lawyer, Brian Friedman, said that Blake's team asking a judge for a gag order to stop him and his team from talking about the case in the media is an ironic attempt to gag the truth in a case where she claims she wants all the facts to come out. According to Friedman, Blake worked with the media outlet, aka the New York Times, who Baldoni's also suing for $250 million, to ruin the lives of his client, Justin, and other innocent individuals simply because the world had seen through her public persona and no longer viewed her the same. But Brian said that they will always respect the court, meaning that if the gag order is accepted, they'll respect it. But that hasn't happened yet. He is saying they will never be bullied by those suggesting we cannot defend our clients with pure, unedited facts. Brian's goal as Justin's attorney is that they just want to show the world actual text messages and unedited video like the one they released this week, showing the two interacting in between takes on the set of It Ends With Us to contradict the SH allegations. Brian ended his statement with strong support for truth, adding, quote, "It seems that in a time of universal deceit, telling the truth is a revolutionary act." Again, Blake and Ryan filed for the gag order earlier this week, claiming that Brian Friedman was making false statements about the case that are irrelevant and might prejudice a jury. And no jury or courtroom has even given a response to that gag order yet. Do y'all think the judge will accept the gag order or deny it? Let me know what you think in the comments. These stories that came out in the last 24 hours about the intimacy coordinator speaking out about that Blake Lively, Justin Baldoni scene from It Ends With Us reeks of a PR stunt from Ryan Reynolds and Blake Lively's team. Last I checked, after reading Justin Baldoni's lawsuit, Blake Lively declined to meet with the intimacy coordinator. Here's a refresher because text messages and evidence was included. Contrary to Blake's knowingly false claims, it was Blake who refused to meet with the intimacy coordinator to plan out their scenes, putting Justin in the awkward position of meeting alone with the intimacy coordinator and later relaying sex scene suggestions and plans to Blake in the intimacy coordinator's absence. These meetings often took place at Blake's insistence in the couple's home, and often while Blake's husband was present. Blake's method of work was unconventional and uncomfortable for Justin. To suggest Justin was the one who created the scenario is knowingly false. In the text evidence provided in Justin Baldoni's lawsuit, you see Justin shared a screenshot of him and Blake Lively's text message to his production team. In Justin's text to Blake, you could see he said, "Just hired intimacy coordinator who I love. We'll set you up to meet or FaceTime with her next week for intro." To which Blake then responded, "I feel good. I can meet her when we start. Thank you though." He let a female producer on his team know that, hey, I tried getting Blake to meet with the intimacy coordinator. It looks like she doesn't want to meet until production starts. He even said it would mess up their workflow, but he would still meet with the intimacy coordinator anyways. The lawsuit continues. As a result, many sex scenes were not written with simultaneous collaboration and input from both Blake and the intimacy coordinator, as Justin had long intended. In the end, Blake rejected all of the intimacy coordinator's proposals to rewrite the scenes herself. The way the lawsuit says it, it seems like Blake Lively was trying to play intimacy coordinator and script writer and the costume person. I mean, she wanted to do everything. So that's why I choose to ignore stories like this. We've got one of our first previews of the RHONY season 15 reunion, and Jessel is not holding back. She confronts Brynn about a claim she made about her and Pavit's marriage, basically saying that Jessel said Pavit was not the love of her life.
Reaction to seeing the conversation by the pool.
Do you remember last year when we were in Anguilla and we're talking to Jessel and we all went around and we were like, who's the love of your life? You said David.
Oh my God, in the car.
You said Abe. And she just straight up goes, this guy. Do you remember?
Oh, her ex-boyfriend?
It was really disappointing. It was like, 2 steps forward, 5 steps back, in my opinion.
I want to apologize for that conversation.
No.
Also,
it wasn't the love of your life.
Guys. I'm sorry. Let me just talk to you for a second. You distorted my words. Okay, I never said that. That conversation that we had that she's referring to, we're talking about the craziest hookup we've ever had.
Yeah.
So she then twists and distorts my words and says, I was talking about the love of my life, who is my husband of 10 years and the father of my children. So imagine having to sit there with Pavit on the couch and having to watch that back. No. You for 1 second and let me talk. It was gut-wrenching. I was destroyed. I called Uber and I was like, did I say that? Like, what the are you talking about? Fact check, Brynn. Check your facts.
Somebody needs to take Lisa's Twitter account away from her. Y'all, she is trying to compare Bronwyn to Jen Shah, and you can't compare those two. In one tweet response to the whole necklace situation, Lisa said, yes, she is a snake and no better than Jen. Actually, probably worse. Lying to people, hurting people, making up stuff that didn't happen. It's pretty shitty. Jen Shah was involved in a telemarketing scheme that scammed the elderly. How does that compare to Bronwyn lying about the necklace? That literally affected nobody. What do you guys think? Do you think Lisa's going a little too far trying to compare Bronwyn to Jen Shah? Let me know in the comments. Scheana Shay is coming out with her own book, and it's titled My Good Side. Are we surprised? She made the announcement on her Instagram page saying that the book is coming out in summer 2025. In her caption, she wrote, I wrote a book. As you all know, one chapter of my life has come to an end, and I'm ready to turn the page and tell my own story. You've seen one side of me on reality TV, another side through filtered social media content, but my good side isn't a highlight reel. It digs deep into the core of who I am, the good, the bad, the messy, along with the missteps and lessons learned along the way. The process of writing this book has been both cathartic and and healing, and I surprised even myself with the stories that blend out onto the pages, details of my life that I've never shared, not even with some of my most inner circle. Until now, the rose-colored glasses are off, and this is me at my most authentic. To all of you who've been right there with me every step of the way, and even to those who haven't, I can't wait to show you every side of me. Although it's kind of funny because it's titled My Good Side, so I mean, is she only showing her good side or every side of her? Just kidding. I'm sure Shishu's book is going to be great. I'm probably going to want to read it myself. Do y'all plan on reading her book? Let me know in the comments. Maybe the breakup wasn't as amicable as we all thought. As you can see, last night, Craig unfollowed Paige on Instagram. As of this morning, she is still following Craig, but of course, that could all change. And obviously, this has a lot of people wondering what's going on. Is it related to her allegedly seeing this Joe D'Amelio guy? But of course, he could also just be probably hurting and not wanting to see updates of what's going on with her and just wanted to unfollow her, basically just to help him grieve their breakup. Of course, this now leaves us with more questions and answers. But again, if I had to guess, I think Craig took this breakup a lot harder than Paige did. He doesn't want to see updates about her online. He doesn't want to see what she's up to, so he just unfollowed for his own mental health. That's what I think. What do y'all think? Let me know in the comments. RHONY's Erin Lichy didn't ask me anything on Instagram over the weekend and even answered some fan questions about Brynn and all the drama with Uba leading up into this first part of the RHONY reunion. Somebody asked Erin, will you be able to forgive Brynn? And her answer was, I'm not angry at anyone, nor am I holding onto resentment. Sometimes, however, boundaries need to be created. I've had that with lots of friendships, not just with Brynn, and the older I get, the quicker I start to notice it. It takes me a while because I really love my friends so deeply and I invest in them, but keeping your own health and sanity, more important. Another user asked her, did Brynn apologize at all? Erin said to me, yes, she did. I won't speak about the rest of the group. People change and grow, and I hope that for all of us. And this is the last one I spotted in her stories. This person said, why didn't you tell Uba what Brynn accused her of? Erin said, so glad he asked. I did not know. If you watched the scene with the girls in the room when the story was being told, I went to eat dinner. When Jenna and Raquel came out crying, I was stunned. I kept asking what? WTF? I had no clue, and they said, it's not our story to tell. I was dumbfounded. That's when Jessel went to tell Uba, like, hey, this thing you know about Brynn is out there in the open. Uba came out, and that's when I learned about everything. Then when I heard the full story, I immediately said, are you sure? Because it just doesn't sound like her to forget such a thing. One thing's for sure, and something I'm gathering from not only the Rolling Stone interview Brynn did, but even this Ask Me Anything that Erin posted over the weekend, is that it doesn't seem like there's any resolution with Brynn at this reunion. At least that's what I'm gathering. What do you guys think? Let me know in the comments. A voicemail was just dropped on the Daily Mail from Justin Baldoni's legal team. In it, Justin Baldoni left a voice note to Blake Lively addressing the It Ends With Us rooftop scene feud. And just to give you some background before I play you the 6.5-minute voice note, remember that lengthy text talking about Taylor Swift and Ryan Reynolds being Blake Lively's dragons? Well, this voice note is Justin Baldoni's response to this text message. Take a listen and let me know your thoughts in the comments.
Hey, Blake. It is 2 a.m. Hopefully this does not wake you up. Whew. Wow. There's so much I want to say to you, and I hope that we can FaceTime or see each other in person soon and get to talk more. But I'm just going to send you a few thoughts, and hopefully it's not going to be more than a few minutes. But I don't have the best track record. I don't think either one of us have the best track record for our voice memos. I want to start with an apology. Man, reading the second part of your message, my heart sank. And I'm really sorry. I for sure fell short. And you worked really hard on that. And the way you framed it and how that made you feel, I just want to say thank you for sharing that with me. That takes a lot of trust and vulnerability, and I feel really grateful that you feel safe enough to tell me that that's how you feel and share that with me. And I'm really sorry. I f***ed up. That is a fail on my part. One thing you should know about me is I will admit and apologize when I fail. I am far from perfect. I am a very flawed man, as my wife will attest. and and I'm gonna up. I'm gonna say the wrong thing. I'm gonna put my foot in my mouth. I'm gonna you off probably, but I will always apologize and find my way back to center. That is one thing I can assure you of. And I'm sorry I made you feel that way. That must have felt terrible. And I will for sure do better. That was not my best weekend, and I should have given it more time. And damn right, you got great friends if that's how you felt and they knew that. And we should all have friends like that, aside from the fact that they're two of the most creative people on the planet. The three of you guys together, it's unbelievable. Talk about energy and just a force, all three of you. But I just wanted you to know that I didn't need that, because it's really good and it's going to make the movie sing like you said. And I'm excited to go through the whole movie with you. I'm just excited to spend time with you. I'm excited to be in your sphere and your presence, and for us to share creative juices together, although that sounds terrible. I think you and I have been trying to build a relationship, which I think we've done successfully. I mean, here we are talking like this, me into my phone at 2 a.m, but largely via text and voice note. And that, I will be honest with you, that is not my biggest strength. I love being with people and being in somebody's space and being face to face. And I feel like that's where I excel, and definitely fallen short at times in our text and voice note exchanges, because there's so much to communicate and there's so much happening. And all that to say, I'm just really looking forward to spending time together. And I think that's going to really go a long way for our chemistry, which I believe is there and has been there from the start. So I was so damn excited when you wanted to do this film. I felt it in the room when we met. And I think it does come from the both of us being so fucking hardworking and having a vision and not settling. And I'm excited to have a creative partner in that with you. And it's just really exciting. There's so much more to say. There's so much I want to say. And there's one thing that I do need to say, which is I am so sorry you have been through what you've been through with these other filmmakers and producers or whoever the people were that you worked with. It just me off. Those heads that I'm just still kind of blown away that this is the industry that we're in and that you've experienced that as a woman. And I know I don't need to say it, but that's not at all going to be or will be. Hopefully it's not been the experience with me. There's nothing more exciting to me like that I get to work with like Lively and have her, all of her. I mean, that's what I want. And so there's been no hesitancy with me sending you the final draft file. I am totally fine with that. The only reason I didn't send it today was because I was trying to implement and add your notes into my working draft, which is already like I'm all over that draft right now. So there's a whole bunch of new stars that are going to be collated pages, and I just haven't had a chance to send it to you. But there's no hesitancy. I'm happy to send it to you, and I'm sorry that has happened to you before, and I hope after this experience there will be a new. I don't know. I hope it'll be healing in some way, because that's all I want. I want this movie to be healing. I want this movie to be commercial, just like you, and affect people and touch people. And I want to walk you through my whole plan and the work that we're doing with the domestic violence partner that we found, No More, and just my vision. And I just know that this can be really, really special, and it's going to be special. And you're the secret sauce, and we're the secret sauce. And anyways, I have so much more to say. I'm going to stop rambling because, Jesus Christ, it's been 6 minutes and 30 seconds. So, me. I'm sorry. You probably have kids all over you and a baby on your boob, and you're listening to me ramble at 2 a.m. I hope you're feeling better, and give Ryan my love. Thank you for sending me that. It means the world to me that you trust me with your feelings and your thoughts like that. And I can't wait to spend more time with you. Okay, I'm done. Cutting myself off. Good night.
Kristen Doty is opening up about the status of her friendship with Stassi Schroeder and Katie Maloney in an all-new episode of the Bravo Hot Mic podcast.
You were asked recently about your friendship with Stassi, and I thought you really maturely said, look, we don't really talk, but she was an important part of my life, and, so I value that, but we're just in different places.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, the last time I talked to her, I'll say like a year ago when we had our pregnancy loss, she was texting me pretty often and being just very loving.
Yeah.
The way that I think she just naturally is, especially because we were in each other's lives, very close for so long. And then as of today, we haven't spoken since I think her anniversary. I texted her like a happy anniversary thing. And she was like, oh, you introduced us. And there was still just, there's no hate. There's we're not friends anymore. It's just people grow apart. She has 2 kids. She has a huge taxing career that keeps her very busy. She has a husband and she has a different group of friends. Katie Maloney, I'm still close to. Are we best friends the way that we were? No, we are in very different places in our lives. It's kind of the same thing. I'm closer with Katie, but it's okay for people to just grow apart.
Right.
Without there being some big dramatic breakup, strangely enough.
You can just tell there's been a lot of growth in Kristen Doty. Part of me is also hoping that when Kristen has her baby that her and Stassi will become closer, but I guess we'll just have to see. What do y'all think? Let me know in the comments. We now have a trial date for Blake Lively and Justin Baldoni's. It ends with this lawsuit. New York federal judge Louis J. Lyman told both sides in an order late last night, Monday, to prepare for a March 9th, 2026 trial. Plus, Blake may be filing a new lawsuit here in Texas. In a new and separate front in the series of legal battles surrounding the film that became a surprise hit last summer, Lively in a Texas court filed a request for a deposition of a man she says was central to turning online sentiment against her during its release and promotion. In that separate filing in Hays County, Texas, a precursor to another potential lawsuit, Blake asked for an order for a deposition from Jed Wallace, a crisis management specialist she alleges was behind much of the social media manipulation surrounding the film that turned public sentiment against her through posts on Reddit and TikTok. According to Blake's filing, Wallace and his Texas-based firm Street Relations were brought on as subcontractors by publicists working with Justin Baldoni and his production company. And remember how yesterday that 6.5-minute voice note from Justin Baldoni to Blake Lively got released? Which if you haven't seen it yet, you can find it on my page. Well, Blake Lively and Ryan Reynolds doubled down on their bid on that gag order request. This is their 3rd time trying to get that gag order request against Justin Baldoni and his legal team. And this 3rd attempt came right before that voice note was dropped. As you can see, there's still a lot going on in this case. That New York federal judge has also moved an initial conference from mid-February to next week and has told lawyers to be prepared to address complaints about pre-trial publicity and attorney conduct. Basically, the judge is saying there's too much media drama, and the judge is worried about all the headlines and public comments around this case. If people, aka their lawyers, keep spilling tea to the press, it could make it harder to have a fair trial. And because there have been complaints about how the lawyers are behaving, like maybe saying stuff they shouldn't or making the drama worse, the judge is trying to make sure that everyone is playing by the rules. Basically, the judge is stepping in to make sure this doesn't turn into a circus ahead of the trial. Now, could Justin Baldoni's lawyers drop some more evidence or things that they have in their arsenal ahead of this conference next week? That's always still a possibility. Because again, that gag order has not gone into place. It has not been accepted nor denied. But with that said, I'll make sure to keep you guys updated if anything new happens with this case. Are we about to see another cast shakeup for RHONY? RHONY producers put out this casting call on their Instagram page, and now a lot of fans, even myself, are wondering, is one person leaving? Are multiple women leaving? What's going on? And then I saw this blind item on X from Bravo Bad Girl reading, talk is getting louder that one of the New York housewives is harboring a huge secret that contradicts everything she's ever told us. If this comes out, it'll be the most explosive housewife scandal ever. And trust, she doesn't need any more bad publicity these days. Maybe I'm wrong about this, but I feel like we can all agree that that blind item is about Brynn. And judging from what some of the women have been saying post-finale in interviews or on social media, they're not really all talking to Brynn. A lot of the ladies have been keeping their distance from her since just because of how dark and heavy that finale was. All of the cast is still following her except for Shay. Shay did, I think as of yesterday, unfollow Brynn on Instagram. And that's why I think the casting call is around replacing Brynn. Shed Casting also went on their Instagram stories answering a lot of fan questions about what they're looking for their next housewife. Some of the questions were, do I have to know the women? They said it is ideal that you have an organic connection to someone on the cast. Another person asked, do you have residence parameters? Yes, Manhattan or Brooklyn. Would people living on Long Island be considered? Unfortunately not. Someone asked if they had a minimum age requirement, to which the producers said it should make sense with the current cast, somewhere between the 30s and 50s. Another fan wrote, how rich do I need to be? They said you should be living a Bravo lifestyle. And do you need to have a large following? No, but you should be in the social circles of New York City. What do you guys think about the future of RHONY? Let me know in the comments. Paparazzi caught up with Rachel Kirkconnell at the airport, asking her about her breakup with Matt James, and she dropped a few hints.
Everyone's talking about it. You're just doing you. So how difficult is that for you to kind of go through that?
It's nothing that you can prepare for. So yeah, you just take it one day at a time.
What happened with you and Matt? Can I ask? I mean, it's going to jump right into it. Is there anything that you can tell us?
I think things will start to come out, and I'll speak about it whenever I'm ready. But
all right.
For now, I'm just.
Was it infidelity? Can you give us?
No.
No, it wasn't infidelity.
No, not at all.
Okay. Is there any chance of you guys getting back together though?
No.
Definitely not.
Yeah, we're out. We're done.
You're done. Okay.
Thank you.
All right. Hey, have you gotten back on the horse yet? You starting dating again yet, or?
Of course, her Caller Daddy interview is dropping tonight at 8 Central, so she's going to open up a lot about her Matt James breakup to Alex Cooper on Caller Daddy. But in this photo, I feel like you can see the sadness in her eyes, like she's been crying a lot, so I do really believe that she was blindsided by this breakup. But of course, we'll find out more when this interview drops. I honestly feel bad for Emmy. This girl has literally had a crash out every episode since this new season has premiered. There were a lot of questions around why Will didn't come pick her up from the birthday party, and why somebody else, which actually turned out it was Will's brother that came and picked her up. So she posted a story to Instagram kind of explaining all that. Emmy wrote 2 things I'm going to clarify after tonight's episode. 1, Will was in Charleston 3 hours away from the lake house. His brother lives 20 minutes away in Charlotte and came to pick me up ASAP. Will drove for 2 hours past Columbia and his brother drove for an hour towards Columbia, and they met off a random exit at midnight. Will drove at least a total of 4+ hours in the middle of the night to pick me up, so don't get that narrative twisted. 2, what happened between Will and myself happened 3 months before we started filming. For my friends to hold on to that information thinking I didn't know when I did and expose it at a group dinner on Lake's birthday with 8 cameras and an audience isn't being a good friend. Knowing damn well I'd react the way I did and kept pressing me even after I asked them to stop and told them I felt uncomfortable talking about this at the table with everyone. That's all. Good night. What did you guys think about this latest episode of Southern Hospitality? I feel for Emmy, I really do. In my opinion, she's with someone who doesn't seem to appreciate her at all. Like, he has willingly talked bad about her to all of her friends, her co-workers, and it always feels like she's trying to get some sort of reassurance from him that he's just not giving her. I don't know, what do you guys think? Let me know in the comments. If there's anything I learned from the Rachel Kirkconnell interview on Caller Daddy is that Matt James's breakup with her was pretty diabolical. We learned that the couple was in Tokyo when the breakup happened. And according to Rachel, everything was fine the night before the breakup. She mentioned not having even an argument with him, but that she felt very overwhelmed on this trip. She said, I was trying so hard to find a good dinner spot for us because the spot we ended up wanting to go to was closed or something, so we were scrambling and I was putting so much pressure on finding a good spot because he cares. And remember, they create food content together, especially Matt. That's like Matt's whole thing on social media. Now, it turns out this place they went to wasn't that great, and Rachel put a lot of pressure on herself into finding a good place that he would enjoy, especially because he liked to film content around the places that they would go eat together. But she did say that he was being unusually cold that night, but it wasn't something that she thought was a serious issue or serious enough that it would lead to a breakup. So the next day she asked why he was being so quiet, and that's when basically he said how he felt to her. According to Rachel, he said that at the end of the day, there were just qualities about her that he worried about having in a wife. And at the end of the day, he said there are things that they weren't compatible with. And he broke up with her on the day that she was scheduled to leave Tokyo to go back home to a baby shower. And it wasn't until she got to the airport and was in the plane on the tarmac getting ready to take off that she found out that he had posted on Instagram about their breakup, with no heads up to her that he was going to do this. I mean, truly, how diabolical. I'll play the clip for you now where she talks about this. Let me know your thoughts in the comments.
Can you talk to me about, like, where were you when you saw this post? So I had just gotten to the airport and, checked my bags, everything, got on the flight. Okay. And I'm in my seat, and for some reason, my phone, I think it's because I downloaded a VPN on my phone a few years ago, and now for whatever reason, it cannot connect to plane Wi-Fi. Right. It just can't. I don't know why. So whenever I take these long flights, I'm off the grid. So we're literally getting ready to take off, and my phone blows up. It's one of my best friends, and it says Rach with a bunch of question marks. And as soon as I saw that, I'm like, oh my gosh, how does she know? And then she texted me again and said, I saw Matt's post. Is this real life? And that's how I found out that he posted. So then literally the plane is taking off, and I see his post, and that's it. I don't have any service or anything for the next 12 hours. So I'm freaking out because, just got broken up with, and now a few hours later, it's for the whole world to see. And I'm still trying to process it. I'm still in total shock. So then knowing the whole world is seeing this, I'm this is so crazy. I can't even wrap my mind around this right now. And I think that's why, I didn't say anything. Still haven't made a statement or anything, because I'm processing this just like everyone else is. I'm a week out of this, So what would you say, 2 hours after? I would say 2 or 3 hours after he posted that.
Gretchen Rossi is coming back to Real Housewives of Orange County. Gretchen's coming back as a friend of the cast. Production of the show's 19th season began this week, with the entire cast returning except Alexis Bellino. Gretchen already has some friends on the cast. She was seen hanging out with Jennifer and Katie while season 18 was airing. And we all know her and Tamra Judge are not the best of friends. Now, the last time we saw Gretchen, she was proposing to Slade Smiley, whom, yes, she is still with. And while they never got married, they just celebrated their 16th anniversary and have a daughter, Skylar, who was born in July of 2019. Are you excited to see Gretchen back on your screen? Let me know in the comments.
Bronwyn revealed that Gwen was the one that caught you messaging another woman. That had to be very difficult.
Embarrassing.
Yeah. But any of this is difficult.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Angie.
This is a look of a man who just found out that his wife used him for a storyline on a show. At least that's what I gathered watching this part of the Real Housewives of Salt Lake City reunion. I really don't think Todd cheated on her or had an emotional affair, because he looked stunned when Andy asked him this question and when the ladies were asking about his alleged infidelity against Bronwyn. And I think when Andy brought up Gwen, it really hurt him, because the look he gave Bronwyn was one of, wait, this is the storyline, but I'm not going to say anything because I love you and I don't want to embarrass you. Because this man had no idea she had shared this information on the show. I really can't be the only one thinking this. Do y'all think the same thing? Let me know in the comments. Brynn shared her side of the story with Rolling Stone, and now Uba is sharing her side of the whole drama on Glamour. The article jumps right to the point, talking about that explosive finale between Uba, Brynn, and the entire cast. Uba has taken the time since filming ended in June to focus on herself. She told Glamour, quote, I did a lot of work in the summer. I stayed home and meditated, basically just reevaluated a lot of things. And seeing it all over again, she says, has both given her fresh eyes and opened new wounds. And trigger warning before we get into this article, there is a lot of talk about SA, so if that's a topic that makes you uncomfortable, keep scrolling. In this Glamour exclusive, Uba will address what happened in the finale from her point of view, where she stands with Brynn and more. Uba says, it's disheartening when you open yourself up, genuinely caring for others, only to discover that to them you're merely a colleague. When you're being real and they're like, don't take it seriously, this is just a show. I started to realize they aren't always being 100%. I didn't get the memo. I was on all the time. Here's an example. The first time we met, Brynn bought my hot sauce Uba Hot. I said, why did you buy it? I have 100 of them at home I could bring you. She's like, no, girl. Learn how to receive. I'm trying to support you. Then she calls me and says, I think I'm going to talk about Uba Hot on the show and I'm going to give a bad review so you can get airtime. I said, let me tell you something. Do not touch my product. I'm a woman who worked her ass off to be where I am. This product has won awards. Don't you dare. I believe she has been producing since day one. I can confidently say that when I lay my head on the pillow at night, I know I didn't do anyone wrong. I didn't have bad intentions, I didn't gossip, and I didn't cause drama. If someone came to me privately with a concern, which a few of them have many times, I always offer kind, loving advice. But this experience has taught me the value of silence and the strength in walking away. It's painful because I've worked tirelessly to have a voice, and I take immense pride in never leaving things unsaid or unfinished. It's been a difficult yet necessary lesson. Often what viewers have witnessed are the moments when I've been upset and raised my voice in frustration. What they didn't see is the buildup, the complexities and emotions that led to that point. When you're part of a show, the narrative gets distilled into snippets, which leaves out so much context. With 8 individuals on a 45-minute show, it's impossible to capture every layer of the situation. Ultimately, this journey has reminded me that sometimes the most intelligent response is to remain composed, even when I feel that the full story isn't being told. However, viewers did see much of the buildup between Brynn and Uba on the cast trip in Puerto Rico. Following a tense dinner in which Brynn asks Uba, "Why are you here?" Uba replied that she was there because she was hired, before adding that maybe Brynn slept with someone to get this job. Uba said, "I deeply regret saying maybe you slept with someone to get this job, and I am truly sorry for that. The context was that it felt like Brynn was pushing all of us to perform, especially me. I said that out of frustration. I told her that I got this job because of who I am. I don't have to fake storylines or create drama. Brynn didn't give me this job. She's not a producer, and even the producers don't tell me what to do or say. I regret saying these words, but here's the thing. I would have said them to anyone if they behaved the way she did. It wasn't because Brynn is a sexual being or that I was trying to hurt her heart. I would have said this to any of them if they were pushing me to perform as much as she did. She would accuse us of, quote, taking money out of her purse because we weren't meeting her standards, and I got tired of it. It was a heated moment that came after months of pressure to be something I'm not. From the start, it felt like Brynn had it out for me. She'd make little jabs, wrapped in just enough kindness to seem harmless, that would pile on. It felt like she was determined to create a false narrative about me. Looking back, I see the pattern. She'd push me until I reacted, then later came to me in tears saying how much she loves me, how kind I am, and how much the show needs me. Sometimes Erin and I go back and forth too, but we'll sit down and talk to each other or send a message and apologize. But with Brynn, after we fight, it's almost like she thinks we did good. Later that day, things went further downhill when Erin and Brynn put Erin's husband Abe on speakerphone as a joke. Uba said, "At lunch, I was shocked to learn Erin showed a nude photo of her husband. Raquel, Shay, and Jessel all didn't think it was appropriate, but Erin seemed more upset by my reaction than anyone else's. I get that it might be a cultural thing because to me it felt like a bigger deal than she did." Later that evening, I stepped outside when we were going to do our synchronized swimming, and I saw that Abe was on speakerphone without realizing it. I felt bad for him and told him. Erin got upset, she called me disgusting, and asked if I cared more about her husband than her. Then she admitted to me she texted Abe before calling him. I asked, if it isn't a big deal, why warn him? Erin kept on, so I splashed water on her, telling her to stop pretending to be upset over a planned phone call. It was exhausting. Looking back, I shouldn't have cared so much. I should have just walked away. She's right. It's her marriage and her phone call. Lesson learned. Later, I joined the girls in the hot tub and sat next to Erin, trying to put everything behind us. That's when Brynn said I shouldn't get involved in other people's marriages. I told her to go take a nap, and she responded, "Should I suck a D while I take a nap?" In that argument, we both said stupid things. I'm not proud of either of us. She said that I fly commercial while she flies private, and I wish I pointed out that flying commercial is actually safer. There are more regulations, but I didn't take the high road. I went back to my room, and eventually Erin and Shay came in and urged me to apologize. I agreed, but as soon as I stepped outside, I saw Jenna. Her face looked like she'd just gotten tragic news. I wanted to ask what was wrong, but Shay urged me to focus on Brynn. At first, Brynn didn't want to come outside with me, but I begged her to. She did finally come out to hear my apology, but looking back, I think she had no intention of accepting it. As soon as I spoke, it was clear she wanted me to change my words so I would apologize the way she wanted. I told her I would only apologize for what I said. I'm not going to apologize for something I didn't say. Now that I've watched the show, I believe she didn't want my apology. She had already told the girls about her essay and claimed I knew about it. It suited her story to paint me as the villain. Now we get to the part where cameras go down and we see the chaos ensue in the finale. Uba said, "When Jessel came to my room, I thought she just wanted to recap our day like we usually do, laughing and chatting. When she told me that Brynn had opened up about being essayed, I was shocked. I said, that's so awful. Jessel looked at me in surprise and asked, wait, you don't know? I responded, why would I know this? Her face immediately changed to panic and confusion. Then she told me that Brynn had told the girls this and it was on camera. Before Jessel could finish, I rushed out of the room, found Brynn in the hallway and demanded, tell me, when did you tell me this? When did we have this conversation? Brynn said nothing. She just stared at me with a cold, blank look. I kept asking her, but she stayed silent. I went back in my brain like a computer just to cover everything. That was never discussed. Then I went to Jenna and Raquel to tell them this wasn't true. When I returned to the hallway, I was overwhelmed with anger, cursing out Brynn and still demanding answers. As she remained silent, I started questioning reality. I thought, is this really happening? I couldn't breathe. I never wanted anyone to experience what I've experienced, trying to defend my character in the middle of such chaos. I went to my room shaking and I started vomiting. I was in total distress. Thank God for Rebecca Minkoff. She was so helpful to me. She took my hand, pointed at objects in the room and started naming them. This is the light, this is the wall, this is the chair. It helped ground me. I don't think I would have made it through without her and Jessel. Uba and Jessel left to stay at a hotel and the rest of the group stayed up and talked. During the conversation, which happened off camera, Sai asked Brynn if she was sure Uba knew about the essay. Brynn replied, maybe she didn't clock it. Uba said at the hotel we spoke to Erin and Sai. They said they were locked in Sai's room and were like, what happened? Erin was like, you have no idea. I'm sleeping with Sai, I said, in that tiny little bed. So Jessel and I texted production to say that Sai and Erin decided to stay in the same room after what transpired. Production needed to know, and then we got a text back from Sai saying everything's good, security is here. Now, aside from filming the opening credits, the only time Brynn and Uba have seen each other is at the reunion, which we're now watching. A lot of people think I went into the season angry at Brynn because she exposed my boyfriend during last season's finale. The truth is, I'm grateful she did that because that's when I realized who she was. It wasn't that she spoke about my boyfriend, he was going to come up anyways. It opened my eyes to see her throw Sai under the bus that way when Sai had built a genuine friendship with her. That day, filming last season's finale, I made a decision that I will not hang out with Brynn one-on-one ever again. Despite that, I didn't approach the season with negativity. The snake you know is better than the one you don't. This whole experience has been tough but valuable. It taught me that forgiveness and self-protection can coexist. When I said I wished I could go back to before I knew Brynn, it wasn't out of malice. It was out of love and respect for myself. I've spent years protecting the little girl inside me, and rebuilding this friendship would feel like a betrayal. She added, I deeply appreciate Bravo for breaking the fourth wall, allowing more of the truth to shine through. I mean, after reading this and reading Brynn's interview with Rolling Stone and seeing everything play out from that finale into part of this reunion, I believe Uba. This is coming from someone who was a major Brynn fan after her first season. What do you guys think? What did you guys think about Uba's interview with Glamour? Let me know your thoughts in the comments. The Real Housewives of Potomac cast reunion photos are out, and let me just say, some of these ladies absolutely slayed. Namely Giselle, who usually does not have the best look. I want to say that this may be her Hall of Fame look and the best look she's ever brought us on Real Housewives of Potomac. I think Ashley looked extremely elegant. This is one of her best reunion looks. I love Wendy's dress. I think it looks so good on her. She looks absolutely stunning. And Stacey is absolutely slaying on her first reunion look. This dress, I think, is probably my favorite of all of them. I wasn't the biggest fan of Kierna, Jacqueline, and Mia's outfits, but I also do think it's weird that Mia didn't have the same photo that the rest of the cast had at the reunion. But which one was your favorite reunion look? I have to say mine is between Giselle and Stacey. What do you guys think? Let me know in the comments. Looks like Shannon's excited to have Gretchen join the OC team. Shannon made this post on Instagram after it was announced that Gretchen's coming back as a friend of for Real Housewives of Orange County. She wrote, welcome, Gretchen. Jennifer and Katie are also both excited to have Gretchen join the show. They did hang out with her while season 18 was airing. Gretchen also responded to Shannon's post, writing, thank you, Shannon. Look forward to a great season and finally getting to film with you. But you know who's probably not as excited that Gretchen's coming back? Obviously none other than Tamra Judge. She posted this after Gretchen's announcement, writing, I guess it's time to dust off those friendship bracelets. My bestie's back. Winky face. And it looks like Tamara's going to have an ally in Gina and Emily, because look at this video Gina just posted onto her Instagram Reels. And the first comment under that video is her bestie Emily saying, you forgot to add that you made this only after I texted you. All I know is that season 18 was phenomenal. And with Gretchen returning, I am excited for season 19. I'm excited to see somebody who is not afraid to go up against Tamra. Are y'all looking forward to the next season? Let me know in the comments. Do y'all remember Claire Crawley, the Bachelorette, who was on the season before Matt James became the Bachelor? Well, she had an interesting tidbit of information about Matt James that she shared to her Instagram stories yesterday that I need to share with you guys. Now, Claire posted this to her Instagram stories right after Rachel's Call Her Daddy interview aired, and in it she writes, catching up on social news and shaking my head at some of this stuff. Remembering that one time I specifically asked producers to please not allow one specific guy on my season because I knew for a fact he was not looking for a serious relationship whatsoever, and I didn't want him to waste anyone's time. So instead, they made him the next Bachelor. And we all know that Matt James became the Bachelor following Claire Crawley's season, even though he was never a contestant on the show. Which it does add up because he never would propose to Rachel, and Rachel says that's something she has been wanting for a long time, and he didn't seem to want to settle down. Now, Rachel has, of course, posted since the Call Her Daddy interview aired. She wrote on her stories, just wanted to say thank you for the love and support. Everything feels scary and discouraging right now, but I believe everything happens how it is meant to, and I know it'll be okay. It's a blessing to be able to feel things and let them hurt. Life is a messy and beautiful thing, and I'm thankful for all of the ups and downs it brings. Love you guys. But what do you guys think about this message that Claire left on her stories? I feel like this is really telling, and it leaves a lot more questions as to why Matt James was even picked to be the Bachelor in the first place if he was never a contestant or was never somebody that seemed like he wanted to settle down. Because isn't that the name of the game on The Bachelor, Bachelorette? Let me know your thoughts in the comments.